Welcome to EntreProgrammers Podcast, the podcast for developreneurs, the podcast where you get to be a fly on the wall listening to real conversations of three developers trying to tackle the challenges they face as entrepreneurs.
All right, we're live.
So Apple finally released an updated MacBook Pro yesterday.
You buying it?
I am not yet because I don't have any money, but I'm running on a 4-year-old 2012 MacBook Pro, which still runs fine. I mean, it's still my day-to-day development machine, but the faster memory, processor speed, video card, and all that will be a pretty big boost for me. But at the same time, I'm looking at what they released yesterday, and I'm like, yeah, okay, it's smaller. I don't care. It's lighter. I don't care. It's that new Microsoft Surface thing looks pretty sweet.
You know how there's this conspiracy where people are like, oh, Trump didn't really want to win the election. He doesn't really want to be president. He's just like trying to build a reputation or launch a media company or something like that. And he's just pretending to like care. That's what I think about Apple and Mac. I don't think they're really trying to like.
Not since Steve Jobs died, at least.
Yeah, I think what happened was like Microsoft bought Apple, like there's some kind of secret dealing or something. They're just a shill at this point. They're just like, let's release all kinds of unoriginal stuff. And in the meantime, Microsoft is like, wouldn't it be cool if we had this like fucking spinny thing we put on the screen and you could like spin it around and pick colors and shit, and then it would tilt. It'd be awesome, man. And that, yeah. So,
yeah. Meanwhile, Apple's entire strategy is to just remove ports.
Exactly. They're like,
we're gonna remove some ports. We're gonna remove some keys from your keyboard. We're gonna remove, and we're gonna charge you $50 for everything that you used to use, so that you can use it again. And the crowd cheers and goes nuts.
Yeah. The lack of function, like the virtual.
I don't care about the function keys, quite honestly. I mean, except for the escape key.
Yeah,
that is literally the only key I use on a regular basis. But even that, I mean, it's a virtual keypad, and the escape key is going to be there when I need it. It'll be in the same place.
What I'm worried about though is that the developers will take it over and start to. Because you can do that. That's kind of the whole point, is that you can make it. So now your keyboard is going to get hijacked by different apps. So like you go to play your music, and
I never use those keys.
I use them a lot, actually. I use volume up, down, mute.
Well, those will still be there.
Those are on the function row though.
Yeah, but those will still be there. There's two major sections to the touch screen.
Okay.
There's the section on the left, which is the largest portion. It's like 2/3 of it, which is the programmable space, and then there's the section on the right, which is your standard system access keys that you're used to being on that row. And you can customize what shows up in there all the time, so that if you're always using your volume up down, you'll still have volume up down there.
Okay, well that sounds like an improvement.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not going to miss the function keys. I'm annoyed that they're getting rid of the escape key just because I use Vim all the time.
I use Caps Lock for that.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. There's a whole bunch of solutions out there, but even that, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll figure out how I want to work around it, and it's not a big deal. The thing that really is, other than the not having money to buy it right now, which I could just put it on my credit card and pay it down, which is probably a bad idea. Other than that,
John's shaking his head.
Yeah. Other than that, the thing that really concerns me about it is the power supply option for me, because I've got like 4 power supplies for this 2012. Got one in my office, one at my friend's house where I go work every now and then, one in my backpack. And I've got, and there's no MagSafe to USB converter out there. There's like one on Amazon, and it has one
One
star
star.
review.
Yeah.
It has one star review. And
It's like somebody just literally just has got a whole bunch of USB cables, and they like cut off the cord.
yeah,
And, like stuck a magnet on there, and they're selling it and trying to make
exactly.
Yeah. It just goes to show you though that it's like a testament to Steve Jobs' greatness and also his weakness at the same time, right? There's just this whole lack of innovation, because obviously Apple is not a good company without Steve Jobs. That's just like that he was the brain in it, but it also shows his failure, because at the same time he did not inspire a company or culture that he was the cowboy. He was the hero.
He was ultimately the guy that would walk around the design rooms and say no to everything and force people to do better.
Yeah.
Whereas now they're like, yeah, okay, that could work. Let's tweak it, instead of just flat out saying no and really improving things.
I was so disappointed. So I have been I'm not kidding. I've been looking forward all month to the AirPods release.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I was just really disappointed. I Googled yesterday to see if they released the or if they announced the release date, and they just delayed it indefinitely. so who knows? I mean, it could just be a few weeks, but I have a feeling it's going to be a lot longer.
Yep.
So yeah, that was pretty. They look. I mean, the feature set looks pretty. I'm like, if they ever get around to releasing them, I'm totally buying them as soon as they come out. But
yeah, I definitely need to refresh my 2012 year, but it was not such an overwhelmingly amazing upgrade that they announced yesterday that I just immediately whipped out my credit card. So it's like, okay, let me finish paying down this credit card debt that I'm currently paying down, and then I'll look at it again. And by then, reviews will be out, and people will tell me whether or not it's worth it.
Yeah. Well, the lack of ports, I don't understand that.
It's got 4 ports on it. That's as many as my current laptop.
Oh, really? I thought I read that they got rid of all the ports except for the
That's the MacBook.
The USB-C.
The
well, yeah, I knew
MacBook
that.
has 1 USB-C port.
Yeah. Okay.
And the MacBook Pro has 4 USB-C.
Oh, okay, great. I take it back then.
Yeah. Plus a headphone output.
Okay. Well, they need to get rid of that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of people really getting in a tizzy about, I just bought this iPhone 7 and I can't connect it to the MacBook. Man. All right, yeah, okay. They didn't release the products at the same time, so no, it wasn't a cohesive strategy.
Yeah. Oh, so I've actually got some fairly exciting news this week that's actually business related.
Really?
Yes, some cool stuff. So I have a T-shirt that has been designed for Simple Programmer.
Nice.
And I have figured out a order fulfillment and drop shipment solution. So basically, I will be able to buy T-shirts, and or I'll be able to list the T-shirts and sell them, and then have it all taken care of automatically, which will be pretty dang cool.
Yeah. Well.
They're supposed to be shipping me the T-shirts here, like some demo ones within the next week. So I'll send you. I'll drop a link in for the shirt. What the winner was. Let me grab it real quick. But yeah. So that, and then which is, I think this is going to be awesome. Actually, I think that we're going to sell a ton of these shirts, just because, especially on the YouTube channel. I think that one will definitely be extremely popular. And then what else do we got here? So and then I did I updated the podcast list. Oh, here's a shirt, by the way. So I put the
that's lock tab to.
Huh?
That the link you gave us is locked behind your account.
Oh, that's kind of annoying. Let's see. I think I could just.
You can email a screenshot. That would probably be the fastest thing.
Or just share your desktop.
Here, I'll just save this. Save image. Why can't I save image? What the heck? I have it downloaded. Download. All right, I'm going to just put it on Imager. Questionable site.
Yeah, I like it. I like
All right, here we go.
how the design came out.
All right. So there were a few like things I did.
Nice. I like that.
I wanted the shirt to be something that, like, not just a shirt with the logo on it, right? Something where the idea was that you'll wear this because it's actually just a cool shirt, right?
Right,
and then people will see the shirt and they'll be like, I got this idea from Nathan Barry. I think he made some shirts, some entrepreneur. You remember what that was, Josh? He said it was shirts that was like something.
Was
about,
it
like,
teach everything you know?
Something like that, right?
Yeah,
and he went to South by Southwest or something, and people were like super interested. So I want a shirt that someone will say, "Oh, that's cool. Where'd you get that?" Even when they're not a programmer, and so that it'll actually get worn. It's something that you'd actually pay, $30 for. Right. And I'm also using the highest quality like shirts to print them on. I'm not, cheaping on any of that. So.
Yeah, it's a really good design. The colors, the circuit design in the background, that's really slick.
Yeah, we did it. I'm really happy with we like the 99 Designs thing. We started with the logo, and then the logo actually has given the designers a lot of good guidance, like just looking at the logo. And then from there we did the business card, and I'm assuming, John, you gave them the business card design for this. Yep. Yeah, because that's where the circuitry came from. And yep.
Yeah,
so it all fits together pretty nicely. You can't see it too well.
Yeah. But you can see it's got a shine like the circuitry.
Yeah,
there.
That's nice.
And then we've got the, so we did pretty good on those. So so we're going for kind of high end, kind of premium look on all of this stuff with the rebrand and stuff. So, and I think we can sell a lot of merchandise. Actually, I think this is the first shirt. I want to create workout shirts, and maybe a few more designs and things like that where it's good. And probably I was thinking like maybe something like if Josh and I go to a conference or something, that we've got these like polos that have just like the logo on it, just clean with the logo, something like that. But so that was
John will rock the child's extra small.
Exactly.
he has this guy on YouTube. Has he commented multiple times about that?
I don't know.
Complains that John is just wearing small shirts. He's not actually muscular. He's just wearing small shirts.
So I replied to him yesterday, and I was like, you should see me in a onesie, motherfucker. It's fun. I love it.
Yep.
Nice. But yeah, so that was exciting, and then I updated the podcast list. Like I made it driven from a Google Docs spreadsheet, so that the entire list like is generated. There's like this WordPress plugin to inline Google Docs that will create and so that ultimate list of podcasts is the ultimate list of podcasts. I spent like 6 hours, maybe more, on this week, and what I did was I created an algorithm, for a manual algorithm for figuring this out, which is basically like go to every podcast in iTunes, go and look and see if they've released episodes in the last 3 months. If so, they stay. If not, they're deleted. And then look at the listeners also listen to these podcasts, and then go and check all of those ones. And I just kept on doing that, and that's what led me to these are the most popular developer podcasts that it connects it all together. If you think about it, like that's the best discovery mechanism to figure out what are all the developer podcasts that people are listening to. And so there's a few that are off that I missed that I send it out and people.
Yeah, well, then there's some that are not on iTunes.
Yeah, if you're not on iTunes though, I'm not putting you on the list because
Yeah.
Like, are you really a podcast if you're not on iTunes? Like, what are you doing? doesn't, so I don't know. That's my criteria, but maybe I'll, but for the most part, no. But I blasted that out, and we got like, and I asked people to put links to link back to it and stuff, because it's just like a phenomenal resource. We got like, I think 2,000 page views yesterday on the podcast.
Wow.
List, and it's always been a good, like, we've been getting like 150 or so page views a day, but now we're going to get some serious Google juice from this, I think, and we've been getting a ton of email signups from it. So, and now it's easy to update now because it's a spreadsheet. So
yep. Yeah, we have the content upgrade on that, which is what we're getting a lot of our opt-ins for, and that's just the spreadsheet. So now the content upgrade, I had paid a freelancer to go through and get all of the URLs and everything for, like, so that people could just subscribe. But so now all we have to do is point them to the same spreadsheet that's driving the page.
Nice.
So it's like you can read it on the page, or you can sign up for the email list and download it. And
yeah. By the way, the other person who ever, like, the last people who went through that list, they sucked. They did not do a good job. So, like,
the freelancers we hired to do that.
Yeah, when I looked through, it was just like they missed a lot of stuff. Some of it was messed up, and and it's like, why not just have the iTunes subscribe link for all the subscribe links, like, instead of all these, because that's the easiest way, so, and most consistent. But yeah, so we got that, and then oh my gosh, we had such a problem with Zaxaa. Oh shit! What's the worst feeling in the world? Is this? It's when people want to give you their money, right? And they've put in their credit card information, and someone else, right before you get the money, they say, nope.
Right up from underneath that sale.
500 error, right? Not only do you look like a dick, but you don't get the money. And so that's what happened. Zaxaa started giving us 500, like, people were getting 500 errors when they would put in their credit card information and check out. And, like,
jeez,
they're based out of Indonesia, right? So, like, I'm on their intercom support, like, hello, and that's the only support. And there's like someone who can't even speak English. That's I think
I actually need to copy and paste all the chat log into a blog post, because it was actually pretty funny. John stayed up all night, or like most of the night the other day, and he was getting crankier and crankier as the night went on. And at one point, he's like, "Hello, is this a business?" But yeah, like, the whole shopping, like, I'm just absolutely stunned at the state of the shopping cart industry.
Yeah.
Like, it is really unbelievable, because there's so much money in it. And it seems like everyone puts in a good 6 to 9 months of development effort on their product, and then they pretty much, like, fire all the developers and coast for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
It's like that's what DPD seems like they've done. It seems like my impression of Samcart, which is like another one that's been getting a lot of traction lately, same deal. Like, there's requests on their user voice that are, like, really basic, that they haven't done anything with for over a year.
Yeah, it's bad. And this was like, I mean, yeah, like, I was like, what am I going to do? Because all I can do is just be as annoying as hell. Like, because they told me it was fixed. Like, this was like, it went on for multiple days, right? And we're like, holy crap, this is our business. Like, we're losing money. Like, I was telling them, I was like, we're losing hundreds of dollars a day when you're screwing around. And then that night they told me it was fixed, and I went and I checked it, and I'm like, it's not fixed. Like, I'm like, let me talk to a technical person. I will help you fix this thing, right? Because otherwise, tomorrow I was thinking, I'm clearing off my schedule, and I'm like figuring out WooCommerce or building something in order to take payments. But on the good side, our sales are going nuts now. And we're actually one-time offers and the upsells are actually converting. So we're seeing a really high conversion rate with those, which is really good, because that's just like, even though Zaxaa is a pain in the ass, having them and being able to do the one-time offers and one-click upsells is going to add a lot to the bottom line. I would bet that we're going to get a revenue lift just from that of at least like 20%. So
yeah,
nice.
Yep, yeah. So right now we're selling the blogging workbook for $1, and that converts like insane. It like about 20 to 25% of people hit the sales page end up buying the workbook.
Yeah.
And for $1, and then it's still too early to know how many of them are buying the $49 one-time offer, but we've sold 2 of them since Zaxaa got their act together. Yep. So it's probably going to be, I want it to be like 10 to 20%, and it looks like it might actually be that. So
nice.
Yep. And then we also it looks like the $99 10 steps to people are buying the how to market yourself upsell after buying the 10 steps. So they're spending $99, and then we're saying, hey, you want to spend another $199? And they're like, sure. And that's working. That's actually converting crazy. Like 10% of people are opting to spend another $200.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah. So that'll probably be couple, like I would say maybe like anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000 a month extra.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
For no additional work. That's
yeah.
Once we got over onto Zaxaa, like switching to Zaxaa was a lot of work, but we haven't created any new products. It's just offering the existing products. So.
Well, that one is a new product.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
11 ways or 10 ways to make money from your blog. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. So, and I'm still doing the system that I talked about working from 7 to 1. Although it's spilling over a little bit, but it's fine because I'm trying to wrap up by 1. So I'm kicking ass, getting a ton of stuff done. But
nice.
Yep.
Things been going okay with Watch Me Code. Looking at my number of new subscribers since I changed the pricing structure, which was basically beginning of October. I've had 9 new subscribers since then. And looking at my Google Analytics, just looking at the pricing and plans for the pricing and plans page for the month of October, sitting at 518 518 page views. Mm-hmm. So that's like 9 divided by 518 times 100. That's a 1.7% conversion rate on that pricing.
To a subscription.
Yeah, to a subscription.
Yeah. Nice.
Which my bundle sales. I had one bundle sale this month for $50, and I'm working on getting that fixed. That's like the thing that I need to do is re-emphasize the bundle sales on the site again. But the 1.7% conversion rate on that pricing and plan page, I mean that's not unreasonable. It's not great, but it's workable.
A lot of SaaS apps would be happy to get that number of people signed up for a free trial.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking I need to, in addition to getting the bundles, the availability of bundles, which I'm really going to focus on the guides, to have a bundle sales focused around the guides. Once I get that in place, I'm going to start working on traffic again, get back into the regular blogging, and keep up with, start getting back into YouTube videos and all that kind of stuff. Get the traffic flowing through the mailing list again, and see if I can just increase the numbers and hopefully hold that 1.5 to 2% conversion rate on that one page, and see where it goes from there.
That's sweet. So the 9, is that including full like the year?
Yeah,
the full year. Okay, so you've had 9 new customers.
Yes.
between the two different
90
pricing.
subscribers total. Yeah, so I've had 3 at. No, I take that back. I've had. Hold on a second. I looked at the numbers wrong. Oh no, yeah, that was right. So 9 total, 3 of which are annual all access memberships. 6 of them are monthlies. Which, for the whole month of October, we're looking at 9 subscribers total, which isn't great, but it's better than the 2 or 3, the 1 or 2 that I was getting.
Yeah, well,
previously.
It would be. I'd like to know if you went back to maybe this time last year, or some month when you didn't do a big sale on your old pricing model, and compare the actual revenue versus the previous. You know what I mean? From new subscribers versus the previous, because that's what you really want to look at. So you've got like $600 from the 3 all access pass subscribers, and then like 120. Yeah, so that's like probably anywhere from $700 to $1,000 in revenue total, if you figure, on the 3 to 6 month customer lifetime. So that's, that's probably way ahead of where you were in terms of revenue from new subscribers.
Yeah, probably. I'm looking at the report on Baremetrics for a full year. It's roughly the same.
But is that revenue from new subscribers? I'm not talking like monthly revenue.
Oh, okay.
I would think Baremetrics would show you.
Yeah, it shows me monthly recurring revenue.
Yeah, your monthly is so screwed at this point because you've messed with your pricing multiple times. That's like kind of meaningless, but comparing like how much money every month were you making from the new people last year versus this year? That's like the meaningful.
Yeah, I was making about $200 to $300 a month in new subscribers last year.
So you've probably tripled that.
Yeah.
At least or more. So that's huge.
Yeah.
So basically over time, just with what you have now over time, you should be growing again.
Hopefully.
Within some, there will be probably still maybe a little bit of decay from people dropping off the old plans.
Right.
But then at some point it's going to stabilize and then you'll be growing again slowly. And then if you can just get the traffic going, you're going to be growing.
Yeah.
That'll be nice. That'll be nice.
That's pretty awesome.
And I have a feeling that your churn rate will be lower on these just because of the messaging, because the way that people are signing up, they're thinking about it differently. Whereas some people might have been signing up before more based on the messaging of Derick is a cool guy and I want to join his thing. Whereas now they're signing up based on this is the cool stuff that I get and this is the value and this is why I'm doing it, which is going to keep people longer. At least that in theory. So we'll see what happens there. But.
Yeah, so it's been it's been good overall. It's been rough still, but good. The thing that's really been rough for me lately though is not watch me code. It's been my client work, and I don't think anybody from my client office listens to this. So hopefully, if they do, oh well.
Drama.
but it's been frustrating for quite a while. I know that I personally have a tendency to get bored with things and want to move on, and so I've really done my best to work against that. And now I'm facing bureaucratic red tape and in a lot of ways, a sense of being disconnected because I don't work a lot of hours. I work like 15 hours a week for them. But the stuff that I do is critical. It's important, and it really needs to be done. And so there's this kind of disconnect between the number of hours that I put in and really am able to put in versus the importance of the stuff that I'm doing versus, working from home all the time and not having a complete remote team. It's like me and my one coworker, the guy that I work with directly all the time, he and I both work from home all the time. He just lives 30 minutes south of me, 45 minutes south of me. So he and I get together, once every other week or so. But there's still like this disconnect there. And and then the bureaucracy of the company itself. Like we tried to do a deployment of one of my more recent projects like 4 months ago, and there was an error in the Node.js upgrade process, and so that canceled the deployment. And we haven't been able to schedule reattempting it because it takes at least a full week before they approve anything. But then there's the time constraints and the other things that I needed to get on, and then the guy that I work with, his time constraints because he works like 60 hours a week, and the bureaucratic mess of going through all that. And then we started the process again of looking at deployments and talking with everybody about what needs to happen. And our manager at the company itself basically said, yeah, if there's any real risk in this, and there is, then he wants us to do this either on a Friday or on a weekend, which adds more risk. And he doesn't understand that. And he absolutely refuses to listen to the notion that this adds more risk. The system that I need to upgrade is their nightly batch process system. And he wants me to wait until nighttime to upgrade the system. So okay, and instead of upgrading it during the day while there's downtime, while the system is not being used by anyone, you want me to wait until a few hours before this mission critical thing runs to do the upgrade because the bureaucratic red tape says so, and you're unwilling to step up to the plate and convince the management that it doesn't need to happen that way for us?
So there's a good way to handle it. You're right on what you're saying here is almost the best way to handle it. So what I would recommend is just mirror him. So he says, okay, he says there's risk, so let's deploy it on a Friday or Saturday night. And so you just say deploy it, or just say deploy it on a Friday or Saturday night, then wait and let him answer, right? And then he'll say, yeah, to reduce the risk. And they say, doing that will reduce the risk. and then right, but no, this is great. Like this will, trust me, this technique will work.
There's an episode of Parks and Recreation where Ron Swanson, he's the the libertarian boss, and he's like he has to testify before a committee. He's like, the only type of witness that I will be is a hostile witness. And so he just answers every question with a question. And he's like, they're like, did you know this? And he's like, how would I know?
But if you follow that line, then you'll be able to eventually get to the point where your questions will lead him to realizing that does not reduce risk, right? And that it actually increases risk. And you can even like gently nudge, because one of your questions could be, so just so I understand, we're going to replace the nightly batch process during the night. And then just let like if you've done it, like let him, then
right.
He'll argue against himself eventually. But if you come out and you're like, this is dumb, this is why, like, not in those words, then he's just going to be like argumentative about it.
Yeah. I have watched my coworkers do exactly that.
Yep.
And he just sits there and says, yes, every time. Yes, this is what we're doing. Yes. Yes, that's what I said. Yes, this is what we're doing. Yes.
Yep. Well,
he doesn't care. No, he doesn't understand. He doesn't care. He has no backbone. He will not go back to his manager and say, no, we need to change it.
Well,
His
you know what?
philosophy is, my manager said to do it this way.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing. No exceptions.
It's their show. Let them. You know, one thing you should consider that I was thinking about, like as you're saying this, is I would. This is the place where I would eat shit. Like it's like because you're kind of on the gravy train here, and I don't mean it like you're not getting like you're not providing value that you're being paid for. Obviously, you are, right? I mean,
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is you're on the gravy train because you've got this position in this place that is letting you work 15 hours, that is letting you work remotely.
They still pay my bills.
Yeah,
That's
exactly, right? So, and you're familiar with it, and you can you can navigate that mind. There's other minefields, but this one you know how to navigate. So I would be like, this is a place where in life I would just eat shit and just be like, you know what? Whatever you guys want to do, you want to play games, want whatever, we dance, you know, and do this stuff. I'll do it. Fine. I'm still getting paid. I'm still getting billed. I'll do the best job I can. I'll give you my advice when you ask for it. But, you know, as long as you're paying my, 15 hours a week while I'm building my business, I'm not going to rock that boat. Because if you rock that boat and then you lose this, then you're going to have to like figure out something else. And not that you can. I mean, obviously you've got a reputation, you'll get hired, but it might not be the kind of gravy train. And what I mean by that is that you're going to have a learning curve again. You might not be able to do 15 hours. You might have to work like, 30 hours or whatever it is. And so it's probably just not worth this. I would just eat shit. Just detach the caring, like, you know what I mean? Like to some degree. I mean, obviously you care about the work that you do, but the rest of it you can't care about because you realize that this is this is something that's enabling you to be able to like fuel the thing that you do care about, which is watch me code. And if you jeopardize this, it's going to jeopardize watch me code.
Yeah. That's pretty much the attitude that I've been taking about this. It's just, it gets worse every month, and it's really just like, come on. Can we just, actually get our work done and deploy this stuff, please? Because I mean, there's nothing as demoralizing for a software developer as spending countless hours working hard and doing your best and producing what you think is a good quality product and then having it literally go to waste, not be used, nobody cares about it, it doesn't get deployed. And I'm facing that situation in 2 out of 3 of the applications that I've built for this company so far.
Yep, I hear you. It's been a while, but
yeah. So yeah, that's my week.
So should we get into the mastermind?
Mastermind things.
Everyone who's like joined us is like, when are they going to talk about the mastermind groups?
Are they going to talk about it? Are they going to get to it? They only got 15 minutes left. Crap. So yeah, we got 11 people have paid their $50 and are raring to go, which is pretty awesome. John and I talked for half a second before we started the call. I've like I said last week, I've already started the group going with Eric Normand. He paid his $50 and everything, and we're starting. He and I started a Slack group because that's what he and I preferred to use for communication, which brought up the question from Eric of whether or not we should have one overarching Slack group for all of these mastermind groups and EntreProgrammers all collectively versus having separate ones for each group. And I like your idea of having the overarching collective one, but then having each individual team do their own email communication through Google Groups, or I guess if the group wants to use Slack instead, that's fine, but have it be separate. And that way people can have that real close personal communication with everybody in their group, but then also have the larger value where we all get together. Because having 16 of us in there, the 4 of us plus the 15 of us plus the 11 people that are signed up for this so far would be pretty phenomenal. I think there'd be a lot of really good ideas to share back and forth between all the groups.
Yeah, plus we'll need a way to coordinate with them too, because we'll want to tell the groups what we're doing and how to do stuff and stuff, and that'll give us a channel rather than trying to make a big email list. And but yeah, so that's good that we got those.
EntreProgrammers Slack. Somebody else created one a long time ago.
Yep.
Yeah, Matt
Kramer, right?
Yep.
That's right.
But we need one that's exclusive to the, so that it's not just listeners, but the ones that are in this mastermind, so that we keep the noise, ratio.
That's true. That's true.
So next step. So we've got enough applications to spin off probably 3 groups, which is what we were kind of looking for, I think.
Yep.
Of 3 groups of 4 to 3 people. So I think what we need to do is like tasks. We all need to go through the applications and just scan them, read them, make sure that there's no one in there that's like a psychopath that we don't want them to join a group, that they'll be destructive. I don't think that'll be a problem, but we should. No,
I don't think it will be either. I've read all of them a couple of times because I find it fascinating when people fill out applications and stuff like this. And I think it looks like a really good.
Is this like this is a hobby for you? Is just to read applications?
Yes, I did a lot of interviews at companies that I worked for, and I really thoroughly enjoyed looking through applications. Anybody that submitted a cover letter, anybody that had an online presence, anything like that. It was always fascinating to me to dig into who the person is and the things that they are working on, and have that kind of information in the back of my mind when I go into the interviews.
Yeah,
it makes the interviews better because there's more of a connection that I can create with the person, but it also just gives me more information about the whole situation.
I find out where they live and I peep in their windows at night.
Stand outside on the street flexing until they come out and ask you what the hell's going on.
So, okay.
Get the stereo above your head.
That's it. Oh, God. Okay, so I guess, last chance to veto any applications. I guess Josh and I and Chuck should probably scan through and make sure, but I don't think there's any problem. Yeah. Then what we need to do, I think, is I'll just lay out the tasks. You guys agree or disagree, and then we can kind of assign them out and see where. Right. But I think the next task would be to then take a look at those applications and decide how to divide the groups best, like come up with the 3 groups or 4 groups.
Yeah, because we want diversity in terms of experience and even somewhat in products.
What we need to do is divide this up like Survivor, so that we've got like all these warring tribes.
Yeah. All right, all the screencasters go in this group, all the ebook authors go in this group, all of the SaaS people go in that group.
So what you're saying, Josh, I'm actually that was actually kind of part of my original vision for this, which is that we kind of have like individual teams that are like they're EntreProgrammers, like this is Dragon Team and this is whatever, and that they kind of are. There's a little bit of rivalry. There's a little bit of this kind of things that kind of gives you that kind of feel. And then when we go to conferences, we
what we should do right away is the 24-hour challenge. That could be like a trial by fire, right?
Yes.
And they all have to, and we have some kind of prize.
Yeah, that's a good
for the winner.
Yep. That's a good idea. Yeah, because that's a good kind of like team building bonding thing too. So, okay, so we divide the groups up. We issue them so part of this, I think, so once we've got the groups divided up, then what we need to do is basically craft a sort of standard operating procedure email of telling people what to do, like what kind of the philosophy, like in the things like the 24-hour challenge, and like, okay, set up a Google group, right? Here's your team members, like introduce them to each other. So kind of welcoming email, you're not a psychopath. You're able to be part of the group. And then here's your group. And then I would say, and part of that needs to be that we need the instructions on for like very specifically what you're supposed to do. You guys need to decide on a time every week that you're going to have your call. and record it on Google Hangouts. And then when you're done, drop it in this Dropbox folder. So I guess that's another task, is create Dropbox folder.
Yep.
And maybe it can be the same one that we're using or something there.
Yeah, it would need to be a subfolder per group, but that'd be easy enough.
Maybe we tell them to come up with their team name too. That'll be
Right.
like, EntreProgrammers / Dragon Team or whatever. Pokemon. Pikachu. Okay. And then I think what makes sense to me is the plan. We'll have to talk to Eric about this, obviously. Well, here we're talking to him now, sort of.
Hey,
So,
Eric.
we got to figure out the deal, because I'm assuming, like, if he's got the bandwidth, we want to pay him to do the editing for everyone, right? So, and he'll pick up those ones, and then we would put the episodes on the main EntreProgrammers website. I would assume, but they need to set up their own iTunes podcast, and we can give them the steps for doing that. That's all in the SOP that we'll have to define. And then, like, the way I would envision this would work is that then those teams, what they would do is they would just be responsible every week to just giving us a file in the Dropbox that is their episode, and then we'll handle it from there. So all they have to do is just schedule their meetings and have them on Google Hangouts, and that's it. And that's and then we need to figure out, like, launch dates and stuff like that of when we're launching these teams. But I think for now, like, without getting too overwhelming, like, the next steps that we could maybe do in the next week is to scan the applications and divide them into the teams, and possibly get the standing operating procedure. Maybe we could start on that. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, I can start on that. I can put some rough outline into a Google Docs on the things that they're expected to do each week.
Okay. If you want to do that, and then we can all come in there and kind of edit the doc and add, this way we cover all the bases, make sure we've got it all laid out. And then, like you said, Josh, I think the good launch event would be the 24-hour challenge.
Which I think that's going to be difficult for some people that still have full-time jobs. What do we? Yeah, I mean, we can ask them to take vacation days, or we can say, look, we're doing this, and if you can be a part of it, take a vacation day or whatever. If you can't, put in the hours in the evenings and do it when and at lunchtime and whatever.
Yeah, we could leave it up to the teams to decide what they want to do and enforce.
Or if the team says they want to do it on a Saturday, if the whole team says, yeah, Saturday works.
Yep. Okay, so you've got that part handled. Dividing the groups up. Do we want to? I could take that one on. Is figure out how to group the people.
Another thing we should think about is some kind of process for if the groups don't get along.
Yeah, that's going to happen. So we need some kind of mediation, a way for people to be able to contact us and say, hey, look, this isn't working out for me. I'm having these problems.
Yeah,
with this person or with the whole thing.
I think we could probably just add that in the standard operating procedures, just like we can provide them an email address. And I don't want to really plan for that. Like, I mean, we have to have that like as a possibility, but I don't know if we need to, like, that shouldn't be happening.
Well, it shouldn't be, but when we say it shouldn't and we don't plan for it, that's when it does happen.
There's a really, I guarantee it's going to happen.
Yeah, there's a really quick, easy win for this. There's a community covenant thing that I used for the Watch Me Code Slack, and we can just it's an open source project that's been edited by a ton of community members, and so we can just make a copy and paste of that just to start with as a basic. Look, here's our code of conduct, rules, guidelines, whatever the crap you want to call it, which basically says be nice, be respectful. But that doesn't mean don't be honest.
Yeah, I guess that's, again, I don't want to like, well, okay, so I don't want to like nudge people in the direct. I don't want to like bring this up so much that people think about like if there's an issue, let's deal with it. I'm totally about that, but I feel like sometimes when you talk about problems, it makes them more apparent, like ahead of time, right? Someone says, "Oh, well, I got a problem." Of course
it does.
Right.
But that's kind of the point. It makes people watch out for those situations. It doesn't make people create those situations. It makes them more aware of the situations and more sensitive to the situation so that it doesn't cause problems, so that it can be dealt with before it becomes a huge problem.
But see, the thing is like, and I get that at a big gathering, but with a small group like this, you kind of got to trust the people, and it's like, there's going to be like, you got to work this shit out for the most part. You know what I mean? Like if someone's like a total a-hole and they just can't get along with everyone and whatever, then sure. But for the most part, I'd rather see groups working their own issues out, just because that's what, you got to kind of deal with. Like, I
agree with you in theory, but in practice, there is going to be an asshole that nobody is willing to confront. And that asshole is going to ruin it for everyone else.
Well, let's look at those applications really good. That's, and again, I don't disagree that might happen, but let's provide an email address. Let's deal with the, we're kind of arguing a mute point, but I just don't want to spend too much time planning the idea in people's heads, because I don't want people to come up and be like, complain about stuff that's not really like, I don't care if this person said this, like, come on, if you got a real problem, okay, let's deal with it. But
differences in opinions are great. We need that. Differences in calling people names and being offensive, that's a different story.
Exactly. Yeah A lot of people don't seem to understand the difference. Like, all conflict is bad. All conflict is bad, right? It's like, this guy's conflicting me, you're conflicting me, it's no good. And that's not
that's how we create echo chambers.
Yeah. So okay.
Sounds like we have plenty to do this week. I'll start working on basic outlines of standard operating procedures. John, if you can tackle splitting the groups up, everybody review all of the applicants, go look at their websites and stuff that they've done, anything they've provided.
Yeah,
all that kind of stuff. The only thing I would, I can't talk, sorry. When you're dividing up the groups, John, put me in a group with Eric Normand, since he and I had already been planning on doing this together, and he's already paid and everything.
Wait a minute.
I'm going to be a part of that group, not just as an outside influence, but as actually a part of the group. Because I need a group more focused than what we have, and more focused than that other Slack that I'm a part of. Because that group is great. I love that group, but it doesn't quite give me the freedom and fluid conversations that I need from a smaller group.
Okay, I didn't realize that you were going to actually be part of one of the groups.
Yeah, I want to be a part of one of them with Eric.
Okay.
Did you pay your $50 yet, Derick?
I have paid a lot more than that, let me tell you, son.
Did I wonder? Yeah, I think that'll be all right. I was just wondering if that'll create an issue if you're like. Well, it kind of will create an issue, actually, I think, because if you're part of the group and we're kind of the oversight for the group, then we do create a competitive, not necessarily competitive, but somewhat of a competitive environment between the groups, and you're in charge of the groups. It's sort of like your superior officer being, eating in the mess hall with you. Yeah. Right. But I don't want you to not be able to get a group that would be valuable to you. Right. I don't know.
No, I see your point. We'll have to think about that some more then.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's think about that. Let's table that and think about that.
All right. Okay.
And it might work if we like clear it too. Like if we're like, okay, if the group that you're in, we say, okay, does anyone have a problem with this? So
yeah, I can see how it could be a problem though if we're doing something like for the first 24-hour challenge, if we have like a competition where the group that makes the most or does whatever, meets whatever objectives, they get something out of it, then that could be an issue.
all right, so I think we got enough to go on. Oh, one more last thing. I'll email Eric.
Yes.
We need to work this out with him as far as the pay, and we've got that PayPal account that we can just pay him from now, so we should be fine with that. Eventually we'll have to like figure out the whole formalization. We'll probably have to form an LLC and like get all of us to sign it or something like that and stuff. Right. But for now, I don't think it'll be an issue. So
okay.
But cool. This is cool. I think this is going to be awesome. This is actually coming together, and I'm really excited for us to be able to like create this movement and then maybe do some events and stuff like that, and just have like, this could grow into something large. So
it could be fun. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
All right, should we do thoughts for the?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of if I had any thoughts for the week. I guess I'll parrot something that I heard in that Bootstrap Biz Slack, which was really, I don't know how to paraphrase this. The notion was, even if you have a product that fits the market, your pricing and sales structure also has to fit the market. Which the example was actually Watch Me Code when I first started asking the questions about it, and people were looking through it and asking a lot of questions in return about how I'm marketing it, who I'm marketing to, pricing structures, and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of it came back to your model, what you're providing, is targeted more toward businesses, places that have training budgets and probably small teams that need training for these specific topics. But those types of customers don't like recurring payments. They like one-time sales. And I think in looking back at the history of Watch Me Code, I think it's about 50-50, because last year specifically, it was pretty darn close to a 50-50 split between monthly sales where individuals were buying it for themselves versus one-time sales, monthly subscriptions versus one-time sales where it was more companies buying it. So you got to make sure that you're, even if you have a product that fits the market needs, you have to make sure you understand the customer well enough to know what pricing structure and payment options are going to work best for them.
Yep.
And you have to provide the right pricing structure as well.
Let's see. I got one. I saw someone posted this on Facebook, which was, I reshared it because I thought it was good. It's who you are on your worst day is who you really are. And I thought that's interesting, not just from a personality perspective, but also just how you handle the adversity and the struggle and the fight. I had a bit of a tough week this week with a bunch of that whole, you get punched in the face, you have a plan until you get punched in the face, the Mike Tyson, because I get punched in the face, especially with the Zaxaa stuff. And I had this plan and I had to alter the plan. And it was and I kept on having to remind myself, it's okay, this is where you're tested. This is where the iron, is filed against iron, and you gotta, how you handle this is what whatever you think you're doing, or if you think when things are going great and you're but it's when the screws get turned, it both reveals who you really are, but it also is the only chance you have in life to improve who you really are. Because it's those times that you can remind yourself, you can be everything is going to shit and it sucks, and you can be a total a-hole to everyone else and whatever, and that's who you are. Or you can say, okay, look, here's my opportunity to rise to the like, this is like when you're bare, when you're shaved down, how you respond at that point, that's real growth happens. Like if you can hunker down and you can like still like be the kind of person that you want to be, then it changed. Now you've created a real lasting change in your life that's really going to affect you. And not just from a personality and treating people, but also just from a motivational, just like what do you have, right? What's in your tank? How big is your tank? Your tank just got bigger, right? Because if you can, keep going on. And so I think that's just a powerful thing to think about, is just, who you are on your worst day is who you really are.
I like it. So I think I'm going to go with, there very rarely are there silver bullets. Silver bullets. Yeah. So when I got back from the last conference that we went to, what was it? Was it, John, what was the one where the sumo comp. So I started, so Ryan Levesque was there and he was talking about some tricks for opt-in forms and stuff. And I was like, I've tested this before. This doesn't work the way he's saying it, but I decided to test it again. And so I created this pop-up, and it was like, we have two different lead. So it's like basically I did the exact same test on two different lead magnets, like content upgrade type. So same exact pop-up, same strategy on both of these two different blog posts. And in one case, it increased conversions by 25%. In the other case, it decreased conversions by 25%. And the only difference really is the traffic and like the type of people that are coming to those pages. So
that's a huge difference, though.
It is a huge difference, exactly. And so you learn about all these techniques, you learn about these tactics. They're useful. It's good to know about them, and it gives you something to try. But you don't know whether it's going to work for you until you actually try it. And it's to the point where it's like it actually, even if it's worked for you in some other context, that doesn't mean it's going to work again. You have to, you won't know until you try it. So that I've just gotten a huge kick out of that. I'm going to have to do like a video or an email about it.
Have you tried AA testing yet?
I have not.
Where you set up an experiment and you use the exact same version in both options?
Yeah, no, I haven't.
I've seen people on Twitter talking about that recently. Before you do A/B testing, you need to do AA testing to validate your audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should actually do that with the Thrive stuff on Simple Programmer, just to make sure, because I'm still with those kind of results from time to time. I'm like, I wonder if there's something buggy with the Thrive. Like,
it's possible.
Sometimes, some of those results are very questionable, but
sometimes Thrive just doesn't report things properly at all. Because like when I look at the Thrive leads reports, the dashboard will show me this really low number, like, 5 conversions at a 1.2%. And then I look at the detail report and I'll have like 20 conversions at like 4% for the same day. It doesn't report everything all the time in the right place.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
All righty.
Let's get these mastermind groups going.
Totally.
Do it.
All right. Talk to you guys next week. Yeah.
See ya.
Wanna start a business, but you just know how to code? Listen to John, Josh, and Derick as we figure it out. We are the EntreProgrammers, and we'll teach you straight up to be developers.